No, but stop teaching, because guess what?
Or if they teach, if it say teach it a way that you can accept it, because you have pastor who actually read certain scripture and tell us it's okay to take the mark of the beast. Romans 13. So because the man that wants system, then and them know because they're hirelings, and then they really want to lose all of that money what they want to make from the church, all of that fame and all of that things that them have. Them are going to teach the people them so they can take the chip. As the brother mentioned, Romans 13. Because if it becomes the order of the day, the Lord said, obey the higher power. No,
it's going to be the other day, just like the NIDS is right now, is 2009, them say coming here soon. It is the order of the day where they're going to basically, even the church is going to be an influence on the people them take the NIDS. And then it's going to lead to what? The RFID chip. So that's how the thing are play out. Right? How would they do what at first before change?
They talk about the lake of fire.
Right.
And what really cost the lake of fire, because you know people that read the Bible and they hear lake of fire and they think of hellfire.
Right.
It's hellfire.
Yeah.
But according to the definition of the word hell, it just means a low state.
Right.
There's one definition, mean a low state.
And a place in Jerusalem they used to burn garbage.
Yeah, they used to burn garbage or body. You know what I mean? Go back to the Hebrew word kafar. You know? So, you know the Hebrew. So, what I might show you, when the scripture read, it actually talk about the ICBM missiles that are bring that lake of fire. See? That's why we're going to Russia have them, all of these nations have them, and they're ready to war. Most I send create the smith that blow the coal in the fire, and bring it for the instrument to work. They were created to be used. So when the nations have them get created for use, and it's for the most high purpose. You know what I mean? The scripture tells us that he must start the host of the battle. Meaning I am lead everything, the battle we are going to kick off, the war of Armageddon, the final battle, the mountain of troops. We're going to take place over here in the Middle East right now. Most I say I am do it. He said I the Lord must start the host of the battle. So I am do it, man. You bring all of the nations them from far and get them up in one place. I am do it, and that is what we
Revelation 17.
Right. That's actually what we're actually preparing for. So you're looking forward to it.
We got eaten war and got eaten and fish fire.
What's up?
Yeah, got Russian, right? Remember now we tell about America and being Babylon and all that. We start pushing to go share again to back the fight. Because what we are saying, I would say, the other thing that we call consistency, we have to look with the scripture, right? When I read the scripture, say, if you contradict anything where you know, the Bible speak of, then it's off. You see what I'm saying? So you realize that we have bring out precept different cases, and let's say set thing, we have precept now. Go on.
Because the Bible
This
says
is
precept.
Right?
So Revelation 17 and 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the war, and shall make her desolate and naked.
This shall be the who?
Shall hate the war,
Go on.
and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire.
Right, so go for who's the war? Go on.
For God had put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree and to give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of God shall be fulfilled. And the woman which thou sawest is that,
with United Nations.
and the woman which thou sawest is that great city,
That's why I pray for the cover. You know what I mean? That we the likes of it. That's why
which reigneth over the kings of the earth.
Yeah, brother, watch the thing that's
man, everything.
Continue read.
See,
God,
more life, you see, lights.
in a verse 18, continue read into verse 18,
Yeah, man, read.
chapter 18.
Yeah, man, read, man.
Alright.
The pastor's already?
Yeah, man.
Read about the part again.
As in Revelation 17, verse 17. For God had put in their hearts to fulfill his will,
Go on.
and to agree and to give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of God shall be fulfilled. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city, which reigneth over the kings of the earth.
That great city is what? America. Right? That great city is America, which the Bible call the world. And if you know anything, I'm going to tell you the 10 hands are deal with NATO. And America is the one that basically right NATO, basically and them are directly NATO with go. But at this point over there right now, NATO is turning from America, the way of America, yo. Right now, and you see the nations them in NATO, I say, yo, look here, we now work with America agenda, you know. You see me? And them are basically getting themselves ready to fight America, even that we speak. Right? Because as such as America pass on these other countries affect NATO members. So they realize that America only deal with a nationalist standpoint like a Trump step. You see me? And that's why people them are turned against America. Which is what all in the power and the workings of the most side. Right? So them are going to even fire missiles, fire for America and destroy America like I was telling you earlier.
This is Obadiah straight to 7. All the man of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border.
Right.
The man that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They have eat thy bread and laid a wound under thee.
Right.
There is none understanding in him.
Right, but now we're with America again. Right? And not only does America, even the soccer Whiteman people, I look upon the soccer Whiteman as the devil today. Most people are free that way there, They still have the regular people, them like GM, the Mr. GM attack the people inside, but still under the willing syndrome. You know, them love master more than themselves. But the world knows some the white man and the devil, yo.
Right.
Anyway, the soccer white man go, when create havoc, genocide, robbery. Right? And that's why the world is at war with America. And them use America to basically do them agenda. When something like that.
This is Isaiah 13:1. Bird of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amos did see, lift up ye a banner upon the high mountain.
Right, that's lift up a banner upon the high mountains, right? Go on.
Exalt the voice unto them, shade the hand that they may go into the gates of the nobles. I have commanded my sanctified ones. I have also called my mighty ones for my anger, even them that rejoice in my highness. The noise of a multitude in the mountain, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of a kingdom of nations gathered together. The Lord of hosts mustered the hosts of the battle. They come from a far country, from the end of heaven. Evil, Yahweh, and the weapon of his indignation to destroy the whole land. All evil for the day of Yahweh is at hand.
So what we said earlier, the weapons and Yahushua will be coming at the same time. The same time when America get burned, the same time the charge them go coming. Even the president master by their pocket for a long time.
Alright. So this is the book of 2nd Ezra from the Apocrypha. Zin, chapter 13, shoot it off from 1. Zin, and it came to pass, after 7 days I dreamt a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. Because where scripture say, behold, the Lord cometh with clouds, and all eyes shall see him. Chariots of heaven. You see me? And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burnt that heard his voice, like as the earth failed when it feeleth the fire. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. See, as we there say, all of the nations them, when they fight against Babylon, are going to actually turn past and look unto who are come out of the heavens. You see? So, so it said, but behold, but I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself the great mountain.
Right, a great mountain. This is what it says. Well, I'm afraid of pastor, give me that's one. This should go to mountains of brass. That's all right, read it.
But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain, and flew upon it. But I would have seen the region of place whereon the hill was graven, and I could not.
Right, just like look on the side, and from top to bottom, the ship cover it. Right, they can't see the end of it, right? No, make it fast. Give me the part of the not a Ezekiel, man. I think Zachariah. Yeah, Zachariah 1.
No. You?
6 or 1. Something like 5. Something like 3 from 5.
Zechariah 5 and 1. Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. And he said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a fine roll, and the length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof is 10 cubits.
Right, there's the different flying saucers underneath the big chariot right here. Right? You call them flying rolls. Go on.
And he said unto me, and then said he unto me, This is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth.
Right.
For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off as on this side according to it, and everyone that sweareth shall be cut off on that side according to it. I will bring it forth, said Jehovah of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief, and into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name.
Jump to 6 and 1.
Verse 6 and 1, chapter 6 verse 1. And I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, there came 4 chariots out from between 2 mountains.
Right.
And out of the mountains, and the mountains were mountains of brass.
Right, so those chariots that they saw were built of brass. Right, so you have the mountains that you refer to, not literal mountains, just that to prove that from out of the apartment. Go on.
See me? Where did he say? Jump to verse 35?
31.
31. Alright. So this is 2nd Ezra chapter 13 verse 31. And one shall undertake to fight against one another.
Right.
One city against another. One place against another.
Right.
One people against another. And one realm against another.
Right.
And the time shall be when these things shall come to pass. And the signs shall happen, which I shew thee before. And then shall my son be declared,
Right.
whom thou sawest as a man ascending.
Right.
And when as the people hear his voice, every man shall be in their own land. Leave the battle they have one against another.
Right.
And an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together, as thou sawest them willing to come and to overcome him by fighting.
Right.
But he shall stand upon the top of the Mount Zion,
Right.
and Zion shall come, and shall be shewed to all men, being prepared and built, like as thou sawest the hill graven upon the hands. And this my son shall rebuke the wicked inventions of those nations,
Right.
which for their wicked life are falling upon the tempest, and shall lay before them their evil thoughts, and the torments wherewith they shall begin to be tormented, which are like unto a flame, and he shall destroy them without labor by the law which is like unto fire.
Right. By fire.
Right.
That's the Revelation. Matthew tell you, you come up to send peace upon earth, but a sword. And it's
Matthew 10 and 10 for you.
also say,
You want it?
the fire gonna be already kindled.
Have them. Have them.
You come to bring. Read.
So this is the book of Luke, chapter 12, verse 49. I am come to send fire on the earth, and what will I, if it be already kindled?
Exactly. So that's why the fire go already there, because this is the one that cause the fire, and the mark bring fire.
God.
Right? Give me Revelation. Come on.
So So this is Revelation 19 and 11. And I saw heaven open, and behold a white horse. And he that sat upon him was called faithful and true.
What?
And in righteousness he doeth judge and make war.
What?
His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns.
Right.
And he had a name written that no man knew but he himself. And he was clothed in a vesture dipped in blood.
What?
And his name is called the Word of the Most High. And just to add right here, you have a precept where Isaiah 63 and 2, man. Because the reason why investor dipped in blood is a reason why, man. Because if they come from Edom at that time, man, which is so-called America, which is Basra. You see me? So I will continue. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of the Most High.
Right.
And the army which were in heaven followed him upon white horses,
What?
clothed in fine linen, white and clean, and out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations, and he shall rule. So like he rule them with a rod of iron.
Right.
And he that is tried the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of the Almighty.
Right.
You know?
Yeah,
man, I find that's
cool. Right, so that's what Yahushua is coming to do, bring war upon the wars that have been there. Right? Yeah, make him read Isaiah 63.
So this is the book of Isaiah chapter 63, starting at verse 1. Whoa! Slakia. Who is this that cometh from Edom with thy garments from Basra? This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. Wherefore art thou red in thy apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth in the winepress? See me?
Give me next one for that.
Oh, you never done that thing. You never go in there for sure.
Then, verse 3. I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me. For I will tread them in mine anger, and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment.
65 and 15.
We have it already. It's Isaiah 66 and 15. For behold, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind,
Right.
to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire.
Right.
For by fire and by his sword will Yahweh plead with our flesh,
Right.
and the slain of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai shall be many.
That's what we're out here right now. Right? As prophets speaking of these things, and very soon we're going to get caught up in the air, right? Or we're going to return in Yahushua, and we're going to basically come back to the settlements that are coming up,
Right.
which is war, right? Give me Jeremiah 16. Yeah.
I even just come like it.
I scream, man.
Like, you look for them.
Yeah, make sure. 16 and 14. Now, I'm going to get something between that. This is Revelation 15, verse 1. And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues in them, for in them is filled up the wrath of the Most High. And I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast, and over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the arms of the Most High. Right, the sea of glass is talking about the ozone layer, right? They're going to be in the chariots outside the ozone layer looking down, and America being burned, you know? And then we don't know we're going to come down. We're going to come down, yo.
Come down where we are going. We are going for them in the holes and then go over them hiding.
The Bible says we're going to hunt them down, yo. Right, give me.
Jeremiah 16. Behold, I will send
for many fishers,
Right?
said the Lord, and they shall fish them. And after I will send for many hunters,
Right?
and they shall hunt them
Right, so
from
we-
every mountain.
Yes, so at first come out here, Yahweh said to Peter, yo, follow me and I make you fishers of men. Go to the